Marcus, what do you have?
Well, I ignored all the actual weather and went to just lightning because that's the coolest part of weather.
I mean, lightning is pretty awesome.
So I actually expected to start looking at lightning facts and be like, okay, I'm a little disappointed because my first thought is, could you power a city with lightning? Expecting the answer to be, no, that's static electricity, and no, that's stupid, and that was going to be the end of it. So I looked it up. A single lightning bolt can generate 5 to 10 billion joules of energy, which is comparable to an atomic bomb.
Yeah, haven't you seen Back to the Future?
Yeah, that's where I get all my fucking science facts, Mr.
1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, which is not a real number, I'm pretty sure.
It is if you believe.
So let's get some more helpful perspective. So 5 to 10 billion joules per lightning bolt. New York City uses just under 200 billion joules a year. So if you could harness the power of 20 to 30 lightning strikes, you could power New York City for a whole year.
Okay.
So obviously the problem is, how do you harness the energy of lightning? And people actually have been trying to do it. The biggest issue is that you need just like a humongous capacitor, because all that energy happens in like a fraction of a second. Like the charge, it's just like actually pretty crazy the amount of shit happening in a lightning strike. And to get that into a battery and not have it just dissipate into the ground is pretty tough. But the conclusion of the research was, this is impractical. Lightning doesn't strike enough for this to be worth it. But we just don't have the money to figure it out. Otherwise, it's possible, we just haven't. It's not economically feasible right now. But if you can make it lightning strike the same place a whole lot, it would be economically feasible. So, can you power the whole world? The world uses 5.67 times 10 to the 20th joules of energy each year.
Yeesh.
Which is the equivalent of 60 to 7 million lightning strikes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of lightning strikes.
That's spread out over a year, right?
Yeah, it's over a year. So there are 30 million seconds in a year. So you have to catch 2 lightning strikes per second, which sounds like a lot, but it doesn't have to be in one spot. In fact, you're probably gonna be spread out across the whole world. So if you got like a few facilities around, 2 or 3 per continent, you can probably just do it, no problem.
People aren't going to want to live around where it is, right?
Yeah, so there's definitely a NIMBY problem there, not in my backyard.
Yeah.
I did consider this. Obviously, the very first thing is the noise, which comes to my favorite compound word in the English language, thundersnow.
It's pretty awesome.
It sometimes, in some places, has a thunderstorm while it's snowing, which is just the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard.
It's pretty incredible.
It's up there with moonbows.
Yeah, and what's nice about it is that the sound of thunder only travels 2 to 3 miles in thundersnow, as opposed to infinite miles in a regular thunderstorm. And since you only need a 2 to 3 mile square area, it's not hard to find in the whole world. It's gonna have to be a little further than 2 to 3 miles. So that's for the sound. There's one other lightning problem that I didn't know existed. 95% of lightning is negatively charged, aka the ground's positively charged compared to the clouds, and the negative charged lightning hits the ground. That's the regular lightning strike. 5% of them, there's positive charged lightning, where the air above, on the top of the thunderstorm, gets so positively charged that it shoots a lightning strike. But it usually strikes away from the thunderstorm. So it doesn't go through the negative below it. It kind of goes from the top, and domes away, up to 25 miles away from the lightning storm.
Oh.
So actual safety tip, if you're 20 miles away from the thunderstorm, you could still get struck by lightning if you're very unlucky. So again, 25 miles is still not the biggest radius. We got plenty of the Midwest here. There's plenty of just put it in a rainforest or something. Who cares?
And you could put it in the ocean too, right?
Yeah, put it in the ocean, float one on the sea.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually super feasible. If you could have lightning strike the same place a whole bunch of times, you could actually generate enough power for the world. And then we'd have all this clean energy and everyone would be happy and there'd be no more wars and, I don't know, everyone would be beautiful and all the other good things that you can imagine.
It'd make us more attractive.
Perfect.
But then you would have to you would be working 24/7 basically, nonstop.
I guess, yeah. Do you have to be where the weather is happening, or can you start it and go away?
We didn't specify.
We didn't really specify that.
The strength of your powers.
It would be tough. And there's other things to consider too. For example, if you're making a lightning storm in one spot for like forever, what does it do to the surrounding weather? Because weather kind of travels and, ripples, and I imagine there's some kind of shockwaves you might have to figure out. You might want to talk to some meteorologists or, maybe just have a couple bad weeks, getting your rhythm going. But there's one other thing that you could do with lightning. And this one, I don't know. I could not understand the exact mechanics of how you would make this work. But I found super cool. Lightning produces positrons, which, if you don't know what that is, it is the antimatter particle to electrons. So lightning will actually is so powerful to actually produce antimatter sometimes.
Cool.
And so when the lightning strikes, it makes the positrons, they hit electrons, and they annihilate each other and produce gamma rays, which obviously are not the good kind of rays.
What if you want to be the Hulk?
Yeah, so they're way up there on the bad for you scale. But I found the one useful thing I could find you could do with them is that you can turn regular topaz into blue topaz, which is worth twice as much as regular topaz. So if you want to have a little side gig that involves harnessing antimatter from lightning strikes to turn gems into more valuable gems, you can do that.
I mean, you already solved the energy problem, so I think you deserve this side gig thing.
That is the most like B-movie science fiction ass plot I have ever heard.
I know, this is like so Dr. Evil plot, like, I'm gonna harness the lightning to create antimatter. But that's all my cool lightning facts.
Those are pretty cool lightning facts.
I don't want to get struck by lightning anymore, guys.
Wait, you wanted to
Not
before?
that I really wanted to in the
Okay.
first place, but I always kind of figured like, oh, if it happened, it wouldn't be like so bad. So many people survive getting struck by lightning.
Won't be that
Like,
bad.
It'd be a bad day, but like some people just come out unfazed and you're just like, all right.
I've always thought it's pretty bad.